On today's video review, we are reviewing the brand new beer from Asda Supermarket, one of their new releases. This is a Galaxy New England IPA from Gritchie Brewing Company. Have you heard of them? No, neither have I. But what's it going to be like? Keep watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're reviewing beer number 3 from Asda. These are new beers from Asda. And this one, it caught my eye. Look at the artwork. Really nice looking artwork. This is just called a Galaxy New England IPA. I thought it was called a Gritchie, but Gritchie, I think, are the brewing. They're called Gritchie Brewing Company. I have no idea. I've never heard of Gritchie Brewing Company, so I have no idea where they're from and what they're about, but there's a little bit of blurb on the can, so let's have a read, shall we? Firstly, Galaxy New England IPA, it's 5.2%, bit low for an IPA. It says, a hazy New England IPA hopped exclusively with Galaxy to give a big passion fruit, peach and tropical fruit flavour and aroma, packed with lactose. Oh God, I don't like the sounds of that. And 25% oats in the malt bill. This beer is creamy and sweet, just like a NEIPA should be. So we've got barley, malt and oats, but we've also got lactose, which is a bit, not really, I don't like lactose in beer at all. What do we know about? They're based in Wiltshire. They're Gritchie Brewing Company, Ashgrove Farm, Ashmore, Wiltshire. And they say never heard of them before, but this was in Asda. I think this one was actually a cheaper one. I think it was £3, where I think some of the others were, certainly the one that were recently done from the Garden Brew. I'm sure this might have been £4. So this is £3. So I'm not sure what it's going to be like, but we'll crack it open, get it in a glass, drink it, and we'll give some idea what it's going to be like. So let's go. So out of the 3 beers, I think this one is one that I'm less, probably because I've just never heard of them before, and I'm sort of, I was unsure before, but now I know it's got lactose in it, I'm probably even more unsure. But you never know, we might find unearth a little gem here. But certainly I thought the Garden Brewery one was really good, definitely the best one of the lot so far. And even a Faith in the Futures one, I think it's probably better than a lot of the recent Northern Monk beers. Well, anyway, beer in a glass, I say that looks pretty good. Lovely yellow, orangey yellow colour. It's hazy, but I wouldn't say it's as sort of opaque and thick haze. There's a lot of, as you'd expect, as you want from an IPA. It's quite a lot of carbonation. See those bubbles there, flying up there? Not sure what that actually means, in fact, but you see the bubbles. A lot of the time you don't see the bubbles. But we've got 2 fingers, fairly dense, fairly, I'd say, pretty icy white coloured head. I think that looks pretty good, actually. Let's see what the aroma's like. Oh, it smells really nice. I mean, there's a real sweet aroma in there. You can almost smell the lactose in this beer. There's passion fruit and mango, lots of sort of tropical notes. But there's a sweetness that's very sort of, gets the taste buds going. And I'm a bit more looking forward to it. So, let's dive in, shall we? Cheers, everyone. It's a little milky. I mean, I know when you say beer when it's got lactose in it, I always find it just affects some of the, I don't know, the beer, it makes it go, for some reason, I think it sometimes makes it go thinner, as if you're putting actual milk into a beer and they don't go well. It's like mixing water and oil, really. But there's a real creamy sort of flavour to this, which I wasn't expecting. It's got a lovely soft mouthfeel, though. It's just got a weird twang to it. You can tell there's a lot of oomph in this beer. It's got the oats in it. And actually, I quite like it. It's really, really, I can't think of a beer I've had so smooth as this. It's almost like on the sort of verge of being like, some of those Vault City sour beers, that smoothie sour that you get. It's really creamy. You get a creamy hit, both in flavour and mouthfeel. Yes, there's mango and there's passion fruit. They're not sort of really overly banging the flavour and bursting with flavour, I should say. But they're definitely in there. But actually, Galaxy can be one of those sort of hops that on its own, it's a very sort of overly dank aromatic sort of hop, and on its own it can really be quite powerful and a little bit sort of a bit too much, I think. But with the lactose, it's obviously drawing some of that dankness out and replacing it with a bit more creaminess, and actually it goes down really well. I like it. It's got a different sort of flavour. There is this sort of twang. I don't know, I can only describe it as a twang. It's just, there's that twang that you get when you've got something artificial in a beer, I think, and you're still getting that. But it sort of the twang sort of hits straight away, and you think, oh, this is not going to be great. But then it disappears, and then you're left with this smooth, creamy, passion fruit, peachy flavour, bit of mango. It is a little bit one note in terms of, well, I say one note when I'm talking about passion fruit, peach and mango, but it's all those sort of flavours. There's not much else citrusy in there. I'm not really picking up much grapefruit. There's no bitterness. There's no sort of punchline to the beer a little bit. It's all up front, all the stuff. But it's smooth and it's incredibly drinkable. And as I say, I'm sure this one was £3. So again, if you with Asda, like a lot of the supermarkets, buy 4 for free, so you get the cheapest one free. So if you bought 4 of these, you'd be paying £9 for 4 IPAs. I think this is a pretty good quality beer. Yes, you sort of, I think the craft beer purists, and I'd like to think I'm part of that purist group, would go, oh, lactose in a beer, no, that's not right. But actually, this is the first time that I've had beer with lactose in that's actually, one, I've liked, and two, it's actually brought something to the beer. I mean, I've had lots of really sort of cheap, not great beers with lactose in, and they've all been rubbish. But even when I had the Track Gold Top Double IPA, which is like seen as one of the really top premium beers, I just felt that even the lactose didn't really do much for the beer. If anything, it detracted from it. But this, it's really made a lovely, smooth mouthfeel, creamy mouthfeel. And although, yes, you've had to use a little bit of artificial stuff instead of the oats and and obviously the hops going into it, it's still as much as I think they pulled it off really. So yeah, nice beer. I've nearly drank it. I mean, it's really smooth and very, very drinkable. I will definitely buy this one again. Let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for Galaxy New England IPA from Gritchie Brewing Company. This has surprised me in lots of different ways, but ultimately it's a good beer and worth £3 of your money from Asda supermarkets. But let's go through the scores, starting with aroma, appearance, flavour, value for money, and finally my overall experience. Totting the scores up, we've got another beer in the high 70s. It's a recommended, and it's the high end of recommended. Total score off. Yeah, this isn't bad at all. For a brewery that I've never heard of before, with a beer that's got lactose in it at 5.2% for an IPA, there's lots of red flags, warning signs with this beer. But actually, when it comes down to it, it's still a rather tasty glass of beer. So let me know if you've had this one from Asda. Let me know what you think about lactose in beer, because ultimately for me, I'm not a big fan. But this has surprised me in the fact that the lactose has actually worked in this brewery. So in this brew, I should say. But let me know if you've had this one or any other new ones from Asda. There are some other new ones that I didn't pick up. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick up. There was things like Ashoka, not Osaka, but Ashoka, which is a Vocation double IPA that was in Tesco's, and then they stopped doing it in Tesco's, but then it's only appeared in Asda. So you should definitely pick that up. It's a good beer. The other one that I did pick up, Transmission, is one that I reviewed 2 years ago. I think they used to be Morrison. So it seems like these breweries are rebrewing their beer and then putting them in different supermarkets and seeing what happens. So you never know. We might get some of those great supermarket beers. You might get Polly's coming Asda, for example, with some of theirs. So you never know. But let me know if you've had any new supermarket beers I noticed there's a few new ones from Sainsbury's as well, but they're all fruity, added adjunct sort of stuff that just doesn't appeal to me. So I don't know if I'm going to pick any of those up. But anyway, enough for me for today. Let's just end it there, shall we? But if you're not a subscriber, please give it a subscribe. And if you're not a, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Please give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, please give it a subscribe. This beer, I know, it must be the lactose going to my head. I'll see you in the next video, okay? And until then, drink good craft beer and keep on rocking.